We're back for more Scottish Gaelic tattoo app today. So today we're going to be working on something that we tried a little bit in one of the previous streams, but we wanted to get a weight spinner for when we are waiting for a network call to respond. And we were doing it with like your standard iOS standard issue UI activity indicator that you receive automatically with iOS, but I decided we're actually going to step it up a notch. So today we're going to be doing a custom weight spinner, and I'm excited to get started with you. So let me go ahead and share my screen here, show you what we're working with. So right now, here's our app, right? And when I click on one of these, a drawer comes up. I want a weight spinner to appear and then disappear when this web page loads. So we're going to do that inside of our WebView drawer. This is the other thing. We made this custom view last time, and now we're going to start including functionality, additional functionality inside of this view. So the view is no longer going to be just a pretty face. It's also going to extract away some of the functionality that might otherwise bloat our view controller. So let's look a little bit at what's happening so far in here. In this view, we are preparing the view programmatically, meaning that we add all of our views to the drawer in Swift. And you see an example of that with our dismiss button, which we add right here. So we're going to be adding another subview, which we will then remove when the web page is loaded. So here's how we're going to do that. So we need a weight spinner. We're going to make it, though, it's not going to be a weight spinner. It's not going to be a UI activity indicator, like so. It's not going to be a UI activity indicator view this time. Instead, we are going to use an image view. So I'm going to do UI image view, and I'm going to give it a frame. We're going to do it by frame, and we're going to do CG rect. That's going to have a number of things in it. All of these. So we put these on separate lines. Let's come back to X and Y. I want the width of my view to be 100. I want the height of my view to be 100. Because I want this weight spinner to be pretty big. I want it to be visible for sure. So then if I want to make sure that they always appear exactly in the center, I need to go halfway down the view's width and halfway down the view's length and then take away half of the width and height right here. So the way that that's going to end up looking is like this: self.frame.width divided by 2. That's going to be inside of its own set of little parens here. And that's going to be minus half of what my width is, so that's going to be 50. Then I'm going to see a similar thing right there. So it's going to be self.frame.width height divided by 2 minus 50. Yeah. So this is going to give us our frame, and then we need to assign it. So let's say let weight spinner. Yeah. And then we'll come back, and potentially if we use that later, then maybe we'll keep it as a global. Oh, why is this? There we go. That was bothering me. Okay. So now we've made this UI image view. What I want to do is I'm going to use one of the existing views in this application, and we are going to have that spin for our weight spinner. So let me show you what we have, because we've got some cool stuff. So this dot's not necessarily going to be it. Let's see if we can find... So this would potentially be a cool thing to spin as our weight spinner, for example. Or the knot with hooks might be a cool thing to spin as our weight spinner. Between those two, what do you think? Let's try this knot with hooks. It has a very elegant, kind of serene looking shape to me. That's the words I'm going to use to describe that. So this is what we're going to say. Weight spinner dot image is, we're going to make a UI image right here, right? So that UI image is going to have, we're going to use named, and then whatever the name of that thing was, not with hooks, I think it was. You get a lot of stringly type variables like this in iOS, and it's not the greatest. You could set up enums to try to hide them, which we've actually done in one case right here with this web destination enum. hide away some strings in there. I'm not going to take it out of the WebView drawer for now, but just know this happens a lot in iOS. Kind of an easy way to accidentally get messed up if there's a typo or something like that, because your compiler's not going to catch it. So it's not the best. So we have our weight spinner, and we want to start off with it not being visible. So we actually have a variable for that called isHiddenOnViews in iOS. So we're going to say isHidden is true to start off, right? Because we want that thing to start off being, or rather, we don't want it to be hidden in the beginning, do we? We want it to be false. And then we want to set that to true when our web page loads, which we'll talk about how we're going to do in a second. All right, so also it's super black, right? It's super black, and so I want to make it a little bit lighter. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to set its alpha. WeightSpinner.alpha. We'll say something like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so here's the thing, is that if we run this right now, it's going to show up, but there are a couple key things it's not going to do. Watch this. It's not even there. What? Where is it? Well, let's try our view debugger. You know what we didn't do? What didn't we do? Can anyone guess? Self dot add nothing? We got to add it to the subviewer. It's not going to be there. All right. Try number two. Try number two. Try number two. Here we go. Boom, there it is. What's not happening? First of all, it's not spinning. It's just like a picture. And second of all, it doesn't disappear when this thing loads. So those are the two things we got to fix. First, we'll do the cute one, and then we'll do the functional one. So I want to add some rotation here, okay? Now, the way that we do that is we can actually say in iOS we have access to this thing called a CA basic animation, one of a variety of animation classes that are provided to us by iOS, by the way. So, and there are a couple different initializers we can use. I'm going to use keyPath. And we'll set that to, let's do transform, and this is going to be a rotation. Yeah. So we're going to call that rotation. Yeah. So we got our rotation. And now we'll set some stuff on it. Rotation. The way that a lot of these animations work is you have to specify the endpoint, and it worries about animating it there. So we're going to say to value, and I want it to turn 360 degrees, but we don't use degrees in iOS, we use radians. So we need to do 2 pi is all the way around in radians. It's a different metric for amount of rotation. So we're going to use double.pi, yeah, times 2. So that's going to get it all the way around, and it'll handle the animation for us. Now we have to do duration. So the smaller this number is, the faster it's going to go. Let's start with like a 1.5. I have a feeling 1.5 seconds rotation will look good, but we'll see. I could be wrong. Great. So then we do rotation. So there are a couple different things that we can do here. Because what's going to happen if we just leave it like that is it's going to rotate all the way around once, and it's not going to keep going. We need it to repeat. And I would like it to repeat like a lot of times. There are a couple different ways that you can do this in iOS. The way that I'm about to show you is a little bit ham-fisted, but you can say repeat count, right? And then you can say greatest finite magnitude. So that's going to be probably a lot, as many as you can with the system. So then we're going to do, also to complement that, we're going to say it is cumulative So we don't have to keep like manually setting the view back and having it go again, manually setting it back and having it go again. Cool. All right. So now we have our rotation and we need to add it to the weight spinner. So it's going to be weight spinner dot layer dot add rotation for key. And we'll say this is rotation animation. Yeah. All right, let's see how that does. All right, it's rotating. Looks pretty good. Problem now, of course, is it doesn't go away. So maybe we'll do that part next. And that part, honestly, how are we going to do this today? You know what we're going to do? Probably what we need to do here is implement a protocol on this view that listens for when that animation loads. That seems like the thing that we need to do here. All right. Here's what we'll do. So WebView Drawer currently extends UI view. Let's also have it implement WK navigation delegate. So this is going to give us some callbacks into what's happening with our web view. Now, in order to make that work, we are going to have to set self so this is from last time and it doesn't work right. So instead we're going to do, instead of self.webview.navigation delegate, we're going to have it be self as WK navigation delegate. And I don't think we even need to put that much because it implements WK navigation delegate, so there's no way it's not going to be implemented. Great. Oh, what is it with the lining up of the things? All right, so there's going to be some methods in here that'll help us determine when our web view is stopped loading. So let's try web view. And we're going to do this did start provisional navigation. So what that's going to do is when that web view starts up, I lied. We don't want to do anything in here right now. Instead, we want the one for when it finishes loading. Func web view. Which one is that? I believe it's did finish. Yeah. So this we're going to do. Now we need access to this spinner that we created inside prepare to install. So the scope can no longer be just the function prepare to install. We need to bring the scope outside of here. So let's do this. Var weight spinner UI image view. Yeah, and then we'll do self.waitSpinner on all these. So this is no longer going to be this. It's going to be like that. And I do like to keep that wherever my scope is class-wide for communication. Although we have some communication in the colors that Xcode chooses to display this. So now we need self.waitSpinner.isHidden is true. Yeah, let's give that a try. Nice. Takes the spinner a second to go away there. I wonder if that was, Oh, you know what? It's not going to appear anymore because we never reset it. So we need to set is hidden back to false somewhere. In fact, we can do that in that method that we were looking at, WebView. So, like, every time the thing is supposed to be loading something, that must mean it's become visible. So let's make the weight spinner false at that point. And rather than doing it up here, where is it? Goodbye. Goodbye. Let's try that. Gone. Goodbye. Yeah. Maybe it just loaded too quick. I think we need to hide that web view so that we can see what's going on. So this is the way we're going to do that. Let's do this. Self.webview.isHidden is true. And then we'll set that back to false down in our callback. So when we make, oh my gosh. When the weight spinner is hidden, that's when we do self.webview.isHidden is false. Let's try that. Loading, loading, gone. That was weird. It's weird how the callbacks take a second. I don't think I like that. I wonder if it's doing that just because my resources are so strained right now. Because I've got like the Xcode running, the simulator, open broadcasting software, all of it. Let's do, all right, looks good here. Something's loading. Ta-da! Well, that time it didn't take a second. How about that? How about it? I'm pretty happy with this. What do you think? Let's commit our work, shall we? Let's do. We'll do. Let me make that a little biggen so y'all can see. I like how it makes my window bigger. That makes a ton of sense. Thank you. This is maybe a little too big. Okay. CD workspace. Git status. Let's add this file. This is too big. There we go. Git status. Git branch. Git commit -m. Add a custom weight spinner for the web view drawer whenever a page is loading. Push that on up. Push it up, push it up, push it, push it, push it. Good. Rock on. All right. Well, that concludes the plan for this stream. So I will see y'all in the next one.